Hi there, welcome back to Silver Lining Art. My name is Anish, and in this video, we're going to do something special. We're going to go through my first fully finished sketchbook, and hopefully, you'll get to see my progression as a watercolor painter because I pretty much started uh, painting in this notebook, and it's now finished. And I'm so happy to share this with you. It did end up becoming a little bit of a longer video, so I've cut it into two parts. This is part one, and I will put a link in the description or somewhere around here when part two gets on. So I'll stop talking and let's switch the camera and look what's inside this book. So let's get started with this book. Yes, as you can see, I started this book on May 26th and finished it a little over 10 months is what it took. Finished on April 11, and instead of writing my name on the book, I decided to do the first page. It's always hard to decide what to do on the first page, and so I just decided to put logos of a bunch of different institutions I've been associated with and have really helped build my character. So at the beginning of this sketchbook, I was writing quite a bit. So here I'm writing about how I'm excited to start a new watercolor journal. Hopefully I'll be able to showcase my art as well as present my thoughts and emotions. And as of this, you'll see at the beginning of this book, there's a lot more text, and this rose or different roses was my first painting in this book. Again, looks like I have something to do with running, and this was in Ithaca, New York. And it's really interesting to see because at this point I really wasn't that good at painting, and I was just starting off, and I can see so many like little mistakes that I've made that I would not make today. So it's really good reminder, but also still I think even having this painting, it still teleports me back to this day. I actually remember this run quite well. This is again like after a run when Megan and I were out running, and then we took a stop by this beautiful pond. I think this was at Cornell's bird preserve. They have an ornithology garden, and this was at the ornithology garden. Here is when we went out kayaking on Cayuga Lake. It's one of the Finger Lakes, and I can see I was having a hard time painting water, getting the ripple effect on the water as well as the kayak. It kind of looks like detached. They don't feel like they belong into the same scene, and it's something like a skill that I have worked on quite a bit, just to make sure that all the elements look like they belong in the same scene. Now this is actually based off of a photograph I took in May 2012, so almost 10 years ago in Ranthambore National Park. This is a sambar deer, one of the favorite prey items of the tiger. And actually I was in Ranthambore to see tigers, but then of course you see a lot of other animals. So this is actually from the reference photo was my own photograph. This is also cool. This is when I was just starting to find out about using limited palette. So it seems counterintuitive, but using fewer colors many times gives you a better result. And I was just learning about this concept, and so I decided to paint this elephant with only using a blue and an orange, and it's the same two colors that I've used in the elephant itself. It's just a mixture of the two that creates a nice gray color, and then so the whole painting has only been made using this orange and this blue. Chicken wings. Oh man, I love chicken wings so much. I think this is one of the things I miss the most about being in Switzerland and not being in America. I had hot chicken wings at least once a week. Absolutely love them. I think that's like the American food that reminds me the most of Indian food. And again, you can see, I don't know why I wrote my name here, but actually this was I had bought chicken wings, and I'd put two wings in front of me on a plate, and then painted this by looking at them. So uh, it does look like you can just go and pick it up, but you can't. Oh, this is again great. This is from a reference photo that I clicked in Goa, India. So these are my friends Adam and Matt, and they'd come to visit me in India, all the way from America, and we were in Goa, and it's just like beautiful beach in the background, and just drinking out of coconuts. This is also my first attempt, I think, of painting people. So again, I'm not very good at it. I think I captured the essence of the of what I was going for, but again, I didn't know how to end the painting. I didn't know what to do at the bottom, so it's just a mess. I'm pretty happy with the umbrella though. This I love how the impression of the Kingfisher brand. If you're an Indian, you can recognize this just from the slight impression that this umbrella is sponsored by Kingfisher brand. This is like, so again, I think this will be a repeating theme in this video, and that is that not all paintings work out. On YouTube, when you see my paintings, you see only successful attempts, but there are countless unsuccessful attempts, or at least attempts that I don't think worked out. So this is a small boat, and I was going to show this like storm almost swallowing this boat and trying to get to it. Even try to make the clouds look like claws that it's trying to get to this small boat. Didn't quite work out. Also, I think at this time I was experimenting with colorful skies. As you can see, I was trying to see if what happens if I make I think there's a frustrated note says, for some reason I'm never happy with the skies, especially especially when they are the main subject or the main theme. And then there's an angry face. That's what I felt like, because I was trying to paint this desert scene, and just now I can see why things were not working out. But it was just one of those things where I was like, I can't seem to get it to work. I don't know what I'm doing wrong at that time. Now I know what I'm doing wrong. But these are flamingos. I think this photograph was clicked by my very good friend Vedant. I have made another video from one of his photographs of Sarascreen. I'll put the link right here somewhere so you can see that video. But it's the same photographer, very good friend of mine, and really a brilliant photographer. And then there's a bunch of text, and then here we have something more abstract. I think I was just trying to do different colors, and I did this, and I don't know why. So I made like an envelope thing, and once this was done, I was like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to put a tree in there, and that's how the tree got there. This is one of my uncles. He wanted me to make a painting of him, so I made this painting. Ooh, this is cool. Says my chill spot. This was in Ithaca, New York. I had just moved to Ithaca maybe a few months ago, for a few months before I painted this, and it was in the backyard of this house on Main Street where I would just sit with a beer. It was like lockdowns and the pandemic, so couldn't do much. So I would sit on this chair under that tree with a nice glass of IPA during those days. So good memories associated with that. This is a dog, and there's a quote, true wisdom here. I think my friend Adam said this, and I had to write it down. It says, you don't really know someone till you walk a mile in their sunglasses. The cool thing about this dog though, there is no pencil. It's all paint. The whole dog's this painting has been done. There's no pencil that has been used. Just trying to get used to drawing with paints directly. So empty page. I should probably do something here. Oh, this is cool. So this is actually I wanted to make a thank you painting for my friends Theon and Anastasia. So Theon built this boat, this amphibious boat, and it's a boat on these like huge wheels, and you can just um, have the boat directly come on to land, and it's wicked. It's really famous. Around Ithaca, people know this boat, and so they were kind enough to take me on it a few times, and I really wanted to give something back to them, and so I actually ended up making a different painting for them, but I was trying to work out some concepts, and that's what the boat looks like when it's in the water. But then I think I ended up making it look like the boat was flying because they actually have the boat on land and water, and the next thing for them to conquer was the air. This is cool. This is actually, I'm really happy with how this painting has turned out. This is a black drongo. In my native language, it's called kotwal, which means a policeman. So these birds are actually very fierce protectors of their nests, and they'll fight off birds many times larger than them when it comes to protecting their nests. So other smaller birds like sparrows like to make nests near black drongos because they usually keep the area safe like a policeman. So in my native language Marathi, it's called kotwal, which means policeman. That's black drongo. There is believe it or not, this was supposed to be Nicolas Cage. I don't know what that is, who that is, but I was trying to practice some portraits for doing this portrait. And again, I was really nervous going into it, trying to get the right sense. I think this, I'm really happy how this turned out. And I also in the actual photo there was like the background was a bit busier, I think, and I simplified it by just putting some blue so it appears like a sky. And I think it was one of the times when I learned that it's like good to simplify backgrounds a lot. Let's see what we have. Again, few failed attempts of the boat surrounded by clouds. Not happy with it. This is a crested bunting, a very fat crested bunting. Not too happy with it either, but that's how we learn. This is is a house that my parents have in the mountains near my city Pune, and I go there a lot. I go with my friends. It's always a really nice time. There's forests, and then we have a lot of fruiting trees. There's a big mango tree here. We get a lot of mangoes from that tree, and there's so many good memories associated with this place. And I'm really happy how this turned out, and it really captures the shape because this part is like a octagon, and so it's got windows on all different sides, and I'm really happy how that perspective of it being like a octagon or a round shape as compared to this, which is a more square and flat shape, has come out. Really happy with this painting. So many good memories associated with it. It's also interesting to see the texture on the roof. I think I've overworked it. If I did this painting today, I probably wouldn't put each of these single lines, but that's how we learn, right? And it's also interesting how I've approached the sky. It almost looks fake, looks like a little cartoonish or very illustrative sky, but I think I didn't want to do anything too crazy up here. Yeah, really happy with this painting. This plant here, it's a plant. It's called a ghost pipe, and it's super interesting. I think I knew about these parasitic plants. So these plants are parasitic on fungi. So for this, to understand how cool this plant is, you have to know a little bit about mycorrhizal fungi. So mycorrhizal fungi are these fungi that attach to the roots of plants. like other trees, and they have a symbiotic relationship where the fungal hyphae, the little strands they have, they collect roots. They collect nutrients and pass them on to the roots of the plant, and in return, the plants give them carbohydrates, or the food that the plant makes is supplied to the fungus. Now, this plant does not give anything to the fungus. It's parasitic. It doesn't even have green chlorophyll, so it can't make its own food. And these are the flowers of the ghost pipe. And I knew about this plant. It took me like 7 years to actually find it. I think I just had to be at the right place at the right time to be able to see these. I was so excited when I saw them. This, I think I was just trying to think about how to draw the concept of mycorrhizae and how everything's connected and communicated through there's a plant, and then there's this root system that's associated with mycorrhizae, and then there's like pheromone communication. But also you could look at it the other way, and you can see how there's more diversity underneath the soil, and these are the roots and different mycorrhizal fungi and other organisms interacting with it, and what happens above the ground is just maybe not that important for the plant itself. It's the life underground is probably much more interesting. Here's some value studies. So if you I think I have a video on value studies. I'll put that video in the link as well. But there's a bot by the window, and I decided to do a value study of that bot. Here's another value study. I think I saw this, I don't know who clicked this photograph, but I saw this photograph on my Facebook feed, and I was just looking for some inspiration and ended up painting it. I usually write down if I like where I found it, but on this one I cannot remember who it was that clicked this photo. But again, it's trying to use only two values, light and dark, to paint a picture. So if you can paint a painting and give the message in just two values and one color, you can definitely do it and make it successful when using many different values in many different colors. So this is a good example of that. Here's a cousin of mine who sent me this photo asking me to paint. I think he was joking about it, but then I actually painted it, and it's him with his corona hair. And this is a plant. This is a succulent, and I loved how the shadows were creating more leaf patterns. I don't think I was 100% successful in capturing that. I think I just need some lighter values and some darker values to make this look more convincing. This was inspired from the Adirondacks. I think I was hiking in the Adirondacks with my friend Adam, and just in the passing, I'd seen these huge trees, and then like cottage. There was also quite a big cottage, but looked small in front of the trees, and I tried to capture the essence of that and how large the trees were. It's also one of the first times that I was trying to paint trees in this manner, where you don't really draw trunks, and how you would normally draw a tree would be just like a trunk and then foliage. So this was just a forest. So I was really hard to look at the whole background as one big thing and not trying to look at individual trees, because usually my eyes try to look at individual trees and look for different species. This is a bird, Ashiprania. I don't know if you can see, but there was supposed to be another one here, and I think I just didn't finish this painting. And it's one of those things with like half paintings. It's really hard to pick them back up, at least for me. If I do half of a painting and I stop and I don't finish it in that session, it's really hard for me to come back and finish it, because the next session I want to paint something else that I'm excited about. So maybe at some point I'll come back and do it. This is so good. Such a good story. So this is actually a rough draft. I made another, like a bigger painting for my friend Peter Hahn, and he is a sea lion scientist. He studies endangered sea lions, and and he was telling me the story about how this particular species of sea lion is they're really endangered, and they saw while monitoring them, they saw a dead baby, and the scientists had to go in there and retrieve the baby for autopsy so they can find out why it's dying. And every individual counts when a species is so endangered. And he told me about the story about how he walked closer to retrieve the baby, and all the other sea lions on the beach just like jumped out into the water, but the mother and the bull, he said, stayed back. And he said something the sound of that he could see in their eyes the grievance, he could see the emotions of these grieving parents of an endangered species. And the story was so powerful to me that I ended up using some of his reference photos and his story to make this painting. uh, really really cool story, and I'm always happy to paint stories of scientists. These are some vegetables. I think I was trying to make a painting for my friend Jillian, and I wanted to paint her like a basket of vegetables or something. So I was just practicing some of the vegetables that I thought she might have planted in her garden. Uh, this is a map of a hike that we did in the Adirondacks. Bad map. Um, this is a lighthouse. This is actually my first and only lighthouse. Lighthouses are really common subjects in watercolor painting for some reason, but I think this is my one and only lighthouse that I ever made. This was at Myers Park near Ithaca, New York. This is actually a painting of my friend Nick, and which we did on this hike that the map shows on the Dix Range in the Adirondacks, and I think that's Vermont in the back, and like New York State and somewhere here. Um, this was where we had stopped for a little bit of time. I think we had been walking all day, and we took a small break to have some lunch, take in some views, drink some water. Really cool site. Um, I think I made a bigger version of this and I gifted it to Nick, who's here. And I made a video of that. I think it was my second video on this channel. So now you can sort of see the timeline of this. So now I think we've caught up to the YouTube timeline. It was around this time when I made this painting. I think after I made this one, I made that video the very next day. So I was painting for quite a few months before actually starting my YouTube channel. And this I'll put a link for this painting in the description as well, so you can see that video. Hey there, hope you enjoyed this part 1 of the sketchbook tour. Part 2 will come up shortly. I'm editing it right now. But if you have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe it so you can get notified when part 2 comes up. And when it is up, of course, I will put a link to that part somewhere here. That's all for now. See you next time.